Alright, I'm fixing to, I got about an, wait till these tick out. I got about an hour to kill before I've got to be in an appointment. But I'm gonna try to knock out some more shit with the editor before I have to do that. So I'm gonna stick some, I don't know, educational bullshit in the background and be right. What is it here? Yoink. Oh, I grabbed some sound effects a minute ago. I keep meaning to grab these things, and I send them to myself all the time, and then I forget about them, and so.
Matt, 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 meow.
Yeah, I'm on my headphones. That'll be loud as fuck. Alright. Leave this one be. Pull this back up. Finish whatever.
Victor Hugo is often credited with the saying, "One cannot resist an idea whose time has come." Unfortunately, this saying does not apply to Nikola Tesla because his ideas and inventions were way ahead of their time. The famed inventor envisioned devices that seemed to the common man and woman from the 19th and early 20th century to be the product of witchcraft or simply a fantasy. While he was ahead of his time, Tesla was no sorcerer. The path he followed to get from where he was born and raised to the heights of his fame was arduous and full of risks. Where others would have quit, he endured and did everything possible to further the development of our civilization. Many believe that if Tesla wasn't censored, today we would be living in a utopian society powered by free, unlimited energy, and our technological advancement would allow us to traverse the stars and explore other planets. While there is still much mystery surrounding his life and death, perhaps the most intriguing of mysteries lay in his inventions that never fully saw the light of day. With the intellect and creative prowess he possessed, we can only begin to imagine the thoughts and ideas he had, but never shared. What we do have is a small fraction, a record of the incredible inventions that he either discussed, began building, or had actual working prototypes. These were never fully developed or deployed, at least not to public knowledge, but had the potential to be world-changing, some for better and some for worse. If you're also working on revolutionary inventions as Tesla did, or you simply want to protect your privacy while online, I strongly advise you to use the sponsor of our video, ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN provides top-notch encryption that will secure all of your sensitive information from hackers and protect your online privacy. We often use public networks while accessing our YouTube account, but every time we connect to an unsecured network, anyone connected to the same network can easily steal your information like financial details, account logins, etc. That's why we always use ExpressVPN to make sure our data doesn't get compromised. When we work from home, we're also using them because internet providers can see and track every website you ever visit. All you need is just one click, and your privacy is protected. So stop letting people keep logs of what you do online.
This season, gravity is shifting in unexpected ways, and with that, floating bases are now officially allowed in the game. Back then, if you wanted to float your base, you had to defy the building system with clever tricks and glitches. I've actually shared over 3 different methods before, and while some of those tricks still work today, most of them eventually got patched. But now, thanks to this update, we can finally build floating bases legitimately, without risking bans or being flagged for exploiting build mechanics. To begin, you'll need a special item called the Anti-Gravity Foundation. You can get this by opening Star Advent loot crates at any settlement during the 30-minute Gravity Shift event. Once you unlock the Anti-Gravity Foundation, you'll gain access to new floating base materials. Just keep in mind, they don't come cheap. Each foundation costs 150 gravity crystals, and demolishing them won't return the materials.
Assuming as could be. He had applied for and been given a patent for it, and its purpose was to generate electricity. The idea was to use the steam-powered oscillator to create various frequencies. If the frequency matched the resonance frequency, a receiving device should transform the mechanical oscillations back into an electrical current. It turns out that electricity wasn't the only thing it could generate. One day, while working on the steam-powered mechanical oscillator, Tesla decided to tune the oscillator to the frequency of the building in which his laboratory was located in New York City. Shockingly, even to Tesla, the small oscillator shook the entire building, almost causing it to collapse. In Tesla's own words, "Suddenly all the heavy machinery in the place was flying around. The building would have been down about our ears in another few minutes. Outside in the street, there was pandemonium." People in the area immediately called police and ambulance, fearing an earthquake was occurring. Fearing for his life and the life of others, Tesla smashed the oscillator with a hammer, stopping it from shaking the building to pieces. Having destroyed the machine, he instructed his staff to say nothing of the incident. The police were called and came to investigate but found nothing suspicious. Imagine the potential of a machine that you could tune to any frequency. It spawned in Tesla the idea for a geodynamic oscillator, which would have the same effect but on the Earth. He imagined that it could, if appropriately tuned, prevent earthquakes, or, if tuned improperly, accidentally or not so accidentally, cause earthquakes and be used as a tectonic weapon that can win many wars by causing earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, and other seismic events in specified locations. A government possessing such a weapon could dominate any nation on the planet. Tesla made sure this machine never materialized, but there are speculations that the United States possesses a device similar to Tesla's oscillator and can use it to cause earthquakes in specific points of the planet. The potential of this invention is as powerful as catastrophic, so no wonder Tesla smashed his device with a hammer and stopped its development. The Death Ray. On July 11, 1934, the inventor described a new weapon for the first time in the New York Sun and the New York Times newspapers as being able to be used against ground-based infantry or for anti-aircraft purposes. The press called it a death ray. Tesla announced to the world the astonishing new invention, which was a particle beam projector that Tesla intended to be used as an instrument of national defense. He called his system Teleforce. With this machine, he declared that a nation could bring destruction upon invading armies and shoot down fleets of incoming aircraft at a distance of 200 miles or 400 kilometers away. While the basic beam weapon concept was first revealed in 1934, on Tesla's 78th birthday, specific details about the actual device have been difficult to obtain. 10 years before his death, in July 1934, Nikola Tesla described the new superweapon for the first time as the defense weapon that will end all wars forever. Newspapers around the country called it Death Ray, Death Beam, Diabolical Rays, and also a device like bolts of Thor. Tesla's idea was to accelerate mercury isotope to 43 times the speed of sound in a pressurized vacuum chamber via electrostatic repulsion and shoot it in a beam towards a target. As the optimistic humanitarian as he is, Tesla believed this particle beam projector could be used as a defense weapon that would bring an end to war. In his own words, "My apparatus projects particles which may be relatively large or of microscopic dimensions, enabling us to convey to a small area at a great distance trillions of times more energy than is possible with rays of any kind. Many thousands of horsepower can thus be transmitted by a stream thinner than a hair, so that nothing can resist. The nozzle would send concentrated beams of particles through the free air of such tremendous energy that they will bring down a fleet of 10,000 enemy airplanes at a distance of 200 miles from a defending nation's border and will cause armies to drop dead in their tracks." Tesla's device even made the New York Times front page announcing, "Tesla at 78 bears new death beam," writing that When put in operation, Dr. Tesla said this latest invention of his would make war impossible. This death beam, he asserted, would surround each country like an invisible Chinese wall, only 1,000,000 times more impenetrable. It would make every nation impregnable against attack by airplanes or by large invading armies.
These are legitimate enterprises. I'll take care of the books, you take care of the problem. Old school.
The future of your business is here. With Wix, you get advanced AI capabilities for more customization, more time, and more growth. Speed up your website copy with an AI text generator that delivers a consistent brand voice to every corner of your site.
Oh no.
Limited
that won't
unique
work.
visuals enhance every piece of content you create. Instantly transform any idea into an image right from the comfort of your platform. And win back hours of hard work with AI-powered emails designed to perform. More conversions, less hassle. Smart benchmarks show you exactly where you stand in the market. See what's working and what needs work so you can quickly spot your next opportunity and take your business where you want to go. Oh, and we're just getting started. Go to Wix.com and make it happen.
By the end of the year, Tesla was unsuccessfully attempting to obtain funding from the son of J.P. Morgan, Jack Morgan. He wrote a letter to Jack Morgan describing the power of the defense weapon. I have made recent discoveries of inestimable value. The flying machine, meaning airplanes, has completely demoralized the world, so much that in some cities, as London and Paris, people are in mortal fear from aerial bombing. The new means I have perfected afford absolute protection against this and other forms of attack. These new discoveries, which I have carried out experimentally on a limited scale, have created a profound impression. One of the most pressing problems seems to be the protection of London, and I am writing to some influential friends in England, hoping that my plan will be adopted without delay. The Russians are very anxious to render their borders safe against Japanese invasion, and I have made them a proposal which is being seriously considered. Tesla made an offer to give the Teleforce, or Death Ray, to the League of Nations as a means to prevent any future wars, but the U.S. government did everything possible to deny Tesla, as they wanted to be the only country possessing the superweapon, and wished to prevent it from falling into the hands of any other government. In the following years, Tesla stated that there had been many attempts to steal his invention, saying his office had been infiltrated and many of his papers scrutinized, but the thieves or spies always left empty-handed. This led many to believe that Tesla's death ray was nothing but a concept, an idea only in the mind of Tesla. That is, until Nikola Tesla's birthday press conference, where he disclosed more on the matter. When he was asked about his weapon, this is what he said: "But it is not an experiment. I have built, demonstrated, and used it. Only a little time will pass before I can give it to the world." How is this possible? How could Tesla have demonstrated the destructive power of such a weapon, and no one would even notice? If such a powerful weapon was tested, the effects would surely be very observable. Well, it depends on where you're looking. The answer to this question was not in the densely populated New York City where Tesla was working. It was thousands of miles away in the remote forests of Siberian Russia. There, on June 30, 1908, something remarkable happened near the Podkamenaya Tunguska River, where an unexplained force caused a massive explosion, flattening some 500,000 acres, 2,000 square kilometers, of Siberian forest. Russian scientists estimate the explosion to be equivalent to 10 to 20 megatons of TNT, 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Witnesses reported seeing a bluish light as bright as the sun moving across the sky. A flash and a powerful sound were said to follow it. The authorities explained the event as an asteroid impact, the largest asteroid impact in recorded history, but the mysterious aspect of the event was that no crater was ever found. How could a giant asteroid crash there without even leaving a small crater behind? There's another explanation. It's believed that Tesla built his death ray at Wardenclyffe on Long Island, and he decided to test it in 1908. According to the story, Tesla's plan was to project the particle beam of the death ray in the remote and uninhabitable parts of the Arctic. But for unknown reasons, the beam missed and crossed the polar region over into Siberia, where it hit the area near Tunguska River. After hearing about the unexplainable event in Tunguska, Tesla, thankful that no one was killed, dismantled his machine, as he felt it was too dangerous to keep it. Interestingly, in 2014, the American military deployed weapons that sound very similar to what Tesla described, though not on such a massive scale. They call these weapons direct energy weapons, and have been used in active combat. Could they have had their inspiration, or perhaps initial plans and schematics from Tesla? We will likely never know. The flying machine. Any inventor of Tesla's caliber always had their eyes towards the sky. The idea of being able to travel through the air at supersonic speeds was a dream for Tesla. The difference between what we have today and what Tesla saw was the manner of propulsion we use. If you visit the central area of Belgrade, Serbia, you can find the Nikola Tesla Museum, a huge science museum dedicated to honoring the life and work of Nikola Tesla. The museum contains more than 160,000 original documents, many of which offer a rare insight into some of Tesla's futuristic ideas. One of these documents contains drawings of an anti-gravity ship, which seems to be using some sort of field propulsion. This is what Tesla wrote in his journals. After these experiments, I planned to build a flying machine which could fly not only in the air, but within interplanetary space. The principle of operation of the flying machine is as follows. Towards the flight direction, compression of the ether is to become weaker by the generator installed in the flying machine. As the ether keeps pressing with prior intensity from all other sides, then the flying machine began moving. Being within this flying machine, you will not feel it speeding up as the ether is not to hamper your movement. I had to abandon my plans to create the flying machine. There were two reasons for it. First, I have no money to work in secret. But the main reason is that the Great War began in Europe, and I wouldn't like my inventions used to kill. When on earth will these madmen stop? Apparently, Tesla was really fascinated by the idea of anti-gravity vehicles.
When Google Fiber launched 1 gig internet, some people said,
"What would you even do with that much speed?"
Then our customers did a whole lot. So we launched 2 gig.
I don't even have to think about it.
And then 5 gig.
I have no worry about the bandwidth.
And
we're testing 20 gig right now.
What you want to do won't slow down, so we'll keep speeding up. Going beyond fast. Going beyond fiber. Find out if your address is eligible today at fiber.google.com.
As early as 1906, we can find a letter to the New York Sun newspaper in which Tesla wrote, "I have announced this in advance, and my patents and technical articles have fully exposed my methods and appliances, and have given an account of my experiments about flying aircrafts using transmitted power." Could this mean that Tesla was working on flying vehicles 8 years before the first powered flight of the Wright brothers? The only reason these anti-gravity ships did not become a reality was that Tesla planned to power them with his network of Wardenclyffe towers that were going to broadcast wireless free energy to the entire planet. Multiple Tesla coils would create an extremely high electrostatic charge on the outside of the vehicle. By firing these Tesla coils in rapid succession, a powerful, rapidly rotating electrostatic field would be created. This would develop a charge on the hull of the ship, which would be opposed by the earth and air. As the electrostatic field acts on a far greater volume of air, the aircraft would be able to fly. Unfortunately, the world governments and giant corporations could not allow a network of towers transmitting completely free wireless energy to the planet. This would destroy billions of dollars of profits for fossil fuel companies. So, in 1917, the United States demolished Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower, which was never to be built again, and that made the construction of anti-gravity vehicles impossible. Wireless energy. This leads us to possibly the most well-known and popular invention of Tesla, his wireless energy generator. The world would be a different place today if energy could be transmitted wirelessly. The most frustrating part of this invention is that the tower was actually built. Financed by J.P. Morgan and others in 1901, Tesla built the Wardenclyffe Tower, but he seemed to have bigger and better plans. All people everywhere should have free energy sources. Electric power is everywhere present in unlimited quantities and can drive the world's machinery without the need for coal, oil, or gas. Tesla dreamed that he could create and perfect the ability to wirelessly transmit electricity, enough to power all of New York City. He needed to create a network of Wardenclyffe towers that would harness the energy emitted from the Earth and deliver free energy throughout the planet. When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole Earth will be converted into a huge brain, which in fact it is, all things being particles of a real and rhythmic whole. Of course, J.P. Morgan would never finance something that would bring a source of free energy to the world, because that would destroy his monopoly on fossil fuels. For this reason, Tesla told him that his tower was a radio transmitting tower. Later, when J.P. Morgan discovered Tesla's true intentions, he pulled out all of his funding and the project was shut down. It was eventually torn down and sold for scraps to pay for the debts that Tesla defaulted on. The media called it Tesla's $1,000,000 folly. Humiliated and defeated, Tesla's dream of creating a new and better world was destroyed. Remote-controlled navies and artificial tidal
Keep
wave.
up with the time. I got like...
In 1898, Tesla made a public demonstration in Madison Square Garden, where he revealed a prototype for remote-controlled Navy ships. He also discussed the ability to remotely operate submarines and even missiles with the military. The idea was that with ships being remotely operated, there would be no human life lost during naval warfare. Tesla thought this would save countless lives if implemented worldwide. Regardless of what Tesla thought, the concept of remote-controlled navies seemed to be too far-fetched for even the top military brass at the time, and as far as we know, not one military contract arose from his discussions with them. They simply didn't believe such a thing was possible, despite Tesla's demonstration. While this may seem like a loss for Tesla, it simply shows how far ahead of his peers he was at the time. Consider this. Today, all submarines and missiles are guided by GPS and are operated essentially remotely. But Tesla had one more idea of how to use these remote control ships. The artificial tidal wave was an invention that was dreamed up by Tesla to render opposing Navy ships and naval invasion useless. He imagined that a fleet of remote-control ships, or automatons as he called them, would get close enough to an enemy fleet to detonate an explosive charge. By creating a sufficiently large enough detonation, you could create an artificial tidal wave. He had done the math and determined the size of the explosion that you would need to create a 100-foot high tidal wave up to a mile away. This tidal wave would sweep through an enemy fleet and destroy or render inoperable all of the vessels. In theory, this would save more lives by not allowing war to be waged, which was a goal Tesla strived for. He believed that if it could be done, he should use science to alleviate suffering and war. Nikola Tesla had one of the longest-lasting and impactful legacies of any inventor ever. No doubt, these inventions were ideas way ahead of their time. Tesla was a visionary. He envisioned a new, better world for humanity. In his own words, "A new world must be born, a world that would justify the sacrifices offered by humanity. This new world must be a world in which there shall be no exploitation of the weak by the strong, of the good by the evil, where there will be no humiliation of the poor by the violence of the rich, where the products of intellect, science, and art will serve society for the betterment and beautification of life, and not the individuals for achieving wealth. This new world shall not be a world of the downtrodden and humiliated, but of free men and free nations, equal in dignity and respect." Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and if you're new, hit subscribe and the bell next to it for future notifications.
I'm totally gonna make it to where the other clean towers on the other side, make it look like twin towers, but instead of one getting hit by a plane, somebody threw a submarine at it.
Motion Array is packed with exclusive assets designed in collaboration with some of the biggest names in the creative world.
Sometimes the most shocking corporate misconduct is hidden in plain sight, invisible to the naked eye.
What is happening here will
Visible
swallow
to the
our
naked eye.
world if we don't stop it right here, right now.
Looking back, there was an early clue that the world's richest man was up to something here.
It's just like, why is Elon Musk coming to Memphis?
The people of Memphis soon found out.
Now Elon Musk is coming to Memphis to build the world's largest supercomputer.
A year later,
We here because we mean business.
people here want answers.
It's a job of the health department to protect our lungs, and not once have they went to XAI to see that they had 35 gas turbines operating and polluting our air.
We went to Memphis and found an environmental crime scene. Musk's data center burning enough methane to power a small city with no permits and no pollution controls.
I have not seen anything like this. We believe they've already violated the Clean Air Act.
As Musk helps dismantle the very federal agency that's supposed to protect us against pollution like this.
There is no way to miss how this is a coordinated strategy.
What does Memphis reveal about the future Elon Musk wants for us all?
So the mission of XAI and Grok is to understand the universe.
In 2023, Musk founded XAI to produce and sell artificial intelligence.
I'm gonna want to put this in the day because
so we can figure out where
I really think I can get these shots out by today if I bust.
Its main product is Grok, an AI chatbot that he's incorporated into Twitter, or X. Musk was entering the race to dominate the AI market, but he was arriving late, years after competitors like OpenAI and Google had begun training their AI systems. So in Musk's mind, he had to move fast.
We went to the data center providers and said how long would it take to have 100,000 GPUs operating coherently in a single location, and we got time frames from 18 to 24 months. So we're like, well, 18 to 24 months, that means losing as a certainty. So the only option was to do it ourselves.
Been waiting for this moment. I am pleased to announce that XAI's Gigafactory of Compute, the world's largest supercomputer, is to be located in Memphis, Tennessee.
Musk dubbed the project Colossus, after a movie about a supercomputer that becomes sentient and assumes total control of the world.
And so, my fellow human beings, we all directly and indirectly live in the shade, but not the shadow of Colossus.
A movie named Colossus? I totally want to watch this later. Yeah, let's hold on that.
When you think about the computational power that it will take to put humans on the surface of Mars, that's going to come from the gigafactory of compute that calls Memphis home. We were told that by the company. And so it required speed and power.
It's announced as a done deal.
Keyshawn Pearson grew up in South Memphis.
A billionaire and his organization is coming to our city, and we're just finding out after the land has been purchased, after the project has been approved by certain officials, right, who did know.
This is huge. This puts the word out there that Memphis understands operating at the speed of business.
As a community, we're trying to reach out to people and understand what is XAI. He built it without us even knowing that it was being built.
We had to watch this over X or Twitter. Brent Mayo, Elon Musk would tweet often about where they were in the progress, how fast things were moving.
To train an AI system, a data center requires an enormous amount of electricity. The question was, where would the power come from?
Most companies, when they come to the city of Memphis, they plug into our power grid. That's what you think would happen. Why would this be any different? Unfortunately, we learned, because it is a billionaire's corporation, it would be a lot different.
XAI made a deal with the local electric company for 150 megawatts of power and agreed to build a new substation to help meet that demand. But Musk's ambitious plans suggested he would need much more power than that, and fast. Soon, people started to notice some unusual structures outside the facility.
I drove out there, and the first thing I did was hear the turbines. You can smell it as well. Such a disturbingly unique smell.
From the road, Keyshawn and others could see a row of machines that are typically only used for remote or emergency operations. Mobile gas turbines.
I have never seen portable turbines used like this.
Patrick Anderson works on air quality cases for the Southern Environmental Law Center.
We know that these kinds of generators require air permits. And so right off the bat, we started filing records requests with the local Shelby County Health Department. Do you have an air permit application from XAI? And they came back and basically said, no, we have nothing to hand over. We also filed records requests with EPA to see what they had. They also did not have details on what is on the ground out there. Nobody from the regulatory side, the health department, the city, EPA, has told the public or us really one iota of what's actually operating out there.
To figure that out, Patrick and his team hired a photographer to capture the data center from above. The images revealed far more turbines than anyone knew about. 35.
I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely stunned. How do we not know about this?
According to XAI leadership, the turbines are not being used and are not connected.
Under pressure, XAI claimed it was using less than half of those turbines.
I've talked to the XAI leadership team. There are 35, but there are only 15 that are owned. The other ones are stored on the site.
Well, first off, these are expensive. There's a turbine shortage nationally. You don't obtain these turbines and put them on site if you're not intending to operate them.
So Patrick and his team sent the photographer back out with a high-end thermal camera.
What we saw is 33 of the 35 were very clearly operating.
The turbines were capable of generating about 420 megawatts of electricity, enough to power around 300,000 homes.
They've built a power plant out there. And they've done it overnight, no air pollution controls, quick and dirty, no permit.
I mean, what you've done with the cluster in Memphis is incredible. Just in a handful of weeks.
Any given thing can be sped up. Yeah. Like whatever speed is being done, it can be done faster.
This is the largest AI cluster in the world. This place is absolutely amazing.
That is like superhuman. I mean, Elon is singular. Building a massive factory in the short time that was done, there's only one person in the world who could do that.
And this entire supercomputer is built to power rocks.
We were given a tour at XAI, looking at the facility, very impressive, very exciting for Memphis. Their commitment to the community is remarkable.
It's unique in my experience.
Joseph Goffman has worked on air pollution issues for decades. Until January, he ran the EPA office that regulates air quality.
Most companies that I've dealt with go to great lengths and spend a lot of money to make sure that the day they turn on their operations, they're also turning on their pollution control equipment. That's a given. For a company to do this, it's treating the people who live there as if they don't count.
I like to open my windows early in the morning to breathe the fresh air, God's given air, not the air that man want to give us, but God.
Easter Knox lives just over a mile from XAI.
I really wasn't getting the fresh air. I was getting that pollution that was mixed in with everything.
You know how you light your stove and that gas seeps with the little ticking noise? That's what it smelled like.
Alexis Humphreys grew up here, 1 street away from Easter.
When I smelled it the first time, I was asleep. And it woke me up because I thought gas was sleeping in the house, but couldn't find out. We come outside, and all the neighbors was outside trying to figure out what's going on.
He was an ordinary dad, full of joy, full of jokes.
Last year, Alexis lost her grandfather, who struggled with a respiratory illness called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD.
COPD is a breathing condition, but you don't get it unless you smoke cigarettes. And my granddad didn't smoke cigarettes, but every 3 weeks or so, my granddad was going to the hospital. He would have to get breathing treatments. I have asthma, bronchitis. My mom have just bronchitis, and now my granny has it.
You can't hardly breathe. It's just like your whole world is collapsing down on you, and it's frightening.
Easter and her husband have also developed COPD. What does it feel like?
Feel like you're fixing to die.
The area around XAI leads the state in emergency department visits for asthma. Memphis has one of the highest rates of toxic air releases of any American city, and many of its most polluting facilities are in this neighborhood.
Elon, what he did with Memphis is objectively somewhat dirty, but he's also doing it in an area where there's like a bigger natural gas plant right next door and like a wastewater treatment and a garbage dump nearby, right? And he's obviously made the world a lot more clean than that one data center.
In just 1 year, XAI has blown past existing polluters.
They're emitting somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 tons of NOx. I'm an air pollution guy, so I deal in those numbers all the time, and that's larger than anything else in Memphis.
Gas turbines like these release 3 main types of deadly pollution: nitrogen oxides, formaldehyde, and fine particulate matter. Nitrogen oxides combine with other pollutants to form ground-level ozone, which causes and worsens asthma and COPD. Formaldehyde causes cancer, and particulate matter, airborne soot, can pass through your lungs and into your bloodstream, causing heart disease.
We've shown up today because we've been to too many funerals. We've shown up today because we've cried too many tears. We've shown up here today because we're tired. And we have an expectation of the people that we elect and put into place. We expect them to do what is in our best interest. Not of Elon Musk. And what we're saying is that stops now.
In April, hundreds of people came to a high school in South Memphis to talk about XAI. In January, the company belatedly applied for a permit to operate 15 of its turbines for 5 years.
I'm going to invite a representative up from the applicant XAI, Mr. Brent Mayo.
That's the first time that XAI has publicly addressed the community in any way.
Understand? People do not want to hear the statement, but again,
XAI is committed to meeting the highest standard for emissions. XAI is going above and beyond the required emission control required. And to that, thank you very much for your time.
He immediately left after reading his script. It's extremely disrespectful.
It's time to start telling the truth. The truth is that XAI, who just ran up out of here, they have no controls that prevent air pollution or decrease air pollution in their factories. None. That's the truth. Power to the people!
To date, local and state authorities have taken no action against XAI. Running turbines without permits or pollution controls is also a violation of the Clean Air Act, which it's the EPA's job to enforce. But to date, the EPA has done nothing, and Elon Musk is doing what he can to keep it that way. Musk has helped the Trump administration place strict limits on the EPA's budget as part of President Trump's broader project to radically reshape the agency. Trump's EPA has begun what it calls the biggest deregulatory action in U.S. history.
To fulfill President Trump's promise to unleash American energy and give power back to the states.
It eliminated the EPA's office that assists heavily polluted communities like South Memphis and canceled billions of dollars of funding for addressing pollution.
So you've slashed already $22 billion in grants, but you used DOGE, if I'm not mistaken, to take down your head count?
It's been great. The people working on the DOGE mission are EPA employees. What they provide to me are recommendations. I have found that working with Elon and DOGE has been fantastic, a big help to our efforts.
In March, the EPA announced plans to roll back over 30 air and water quality standards, including protections against fine particulate matter. The new head of the agency describes promoting the AI industry as a core part of the EPA's mission.
It's about unleashing energy dominance, making America the AI capital of the world. And the EPA can't be restrictive of that. We can't be suffocating it.
Making America the world's AI capital means prioritizing a massive expansion of data centers, and hundreds of them are now under construction.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Levi.
With Trump's EPA backing that effort, there may be little recourse for the communities downwind.
XAI comes from a culture of Silicon Valley. That culture is go fast and break stuff. Break them.
A week after this hearing, XAI announced it would reduce the number of turbines it's running at Colossus over the next 2 months, but it's also dramatically expanding.
I'm happy to announce that XAI is increasing their footprint.
It's building a second larger data center.
Oh yeah, we've already started work on the next cluster. Yeah, about 5 times the power.
Where its construction permit application indicates it's considering using between 40 and 90 gas turbines and enough electricity to power 40% of Memphis.
So we're not like stopping here.
In February, during an XAI product launch, Elon Musk gave the closest thing to a public explanation for what he's done in Memphis.
Well, we needed a building, so we found an Electrolux factory in Memphis. That's why it's in Memphis, home of Elvis. And also, I think it was the capital of ancient Egypt. Then we needed power, at least 120 megawatts at first, but the building only had 15 megawatts. So we initially leased a whole bunch of generators. So we have generators on one side of the building, trailer after trailer of generators, until we can get the utility power to come in. You know, it's like interesting. It's not like, oh, we just magically made it happen. You have to break down the problem, just like Grok does for reasoning.
XAI did not respond to questions for this report.
What's happening in Memphis, that is Elon's vision.
Mr. President, all systems are activated.
Congratulations, Dr. Corbin. It's a marvelous achievement.
Thank you.
A technocracy, to be able to do whatever he wants, whatever he chooses, to experiment, to kill, to destroy the environment at the behest of his machines. What that will amount to is a plantation economy for the rest of the world. A desolate wasteland of data centers is to follow.
Thanks so much for watching our video. If you'd like to see more stories like this, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel to get more Perfect Union in your feed. And if you have ideas for other stories we should investigate, just drop them in the comments below.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Post-Apocalyptic Genshin Impact. How are we feeling? Apocalyptic.
I'm scared right now.
Scared. I'm so scared. Each one of us represents an Archon from Genshin. We lost our Archon power, and we need to get it back in this post-apocalyptic world. Duck, who's your Archon?
Well, as you guys can tell here.
What do you mean? Why are you naked? Yo, put that away.
I'm Zhongli. Child stole all my money and clothes.
I am Venti, and since I got deported from Monster and put into this world, I'm feeling a certain type of way, and that way is different type of freedom.
It's me, riding Shogun. I'm a sword. Can't keep it in my boobs though, unfortunately.
Hi guys, it's Diesel, otherwise known as Moika. Here's my sword. Here's my helmet.
Moika died! She's in the Night Kingdom.
How do I get back up?
Her motorcycle to drive up here. Gotta take the stairs and noob.
I am Farina DeFontaine, Archon of Hydro and Depression. My goal in this world is to find a cure to depression.
Oh, we have evil Paimon.
Creepy monster? Is it a brain with legs?
That was pretty spot on.
That was pretty
Tour
good.
guide Paimon, let's go.
Let's explore the area ahead of us now.
You know, people probably thought Natland was gonna look like this. My hot air balloon was way too
Spawning. Things are spawning nearby.
Why am I scared?
Oh, what the hell?
Oh, I got shot. I'm so wounded. I'm so wounded.
Why is it happens to anybody, bro? What the hell? But this was just like Archon War. Holy. Riding Computto. There's some fanfic out there about this somewhere.
Is that what it is?
It's gone now. Get over here, Sean-Lee.
We
Look at all my younglings. They're all resting so beautifully.
I want to be the Pyro Archon now.
I'll make 7,000.
Well, there's no plumbing in Genshin, so
Hey, what do you guys think of my house?
Plumbing into that.
Yes, my throwing knife.
freedom feels good, man.
After 4 years, I can finally let it out.
Oh my.
It's dark. I bet you feel like you've been holding them in for an eternity, am I right?
Fucking commercials, man.
Yeah, so they purchased.
Yoinks. All right. Yeah, I got this appointment I gotta get to. It's gonna take me about an hour. So when I get done, I'll be back.